Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is your host Ram once again back with you on your favorite show, the Cricket Happening Show. Of two test matches that are happening, and both are in the first test match at Galle between England and Sri Lanka. But first, let me talk about the third day's playing only probably in his second test match of his career, and Washington Sundar making his test debut at 67 and 62 respectively, to really put the Aussies in a real quandary, because they probably were thinking that once the pair of Rishabh Pant and the other person who was there was disturbed. Everything was over, but they thought they could probably wrap it up, but it was not to be. They put the highest ever seventh wicket stand between Sundar, who made 67, the highest score. He made 67, and it was Shardul Thakur, 62, aggressive 62 at that, and both of them put 123 runs for the seventh wicket to eclipse that record, and that's the precise reason India finished on 336, and thus just conceding 33 runs lead to the Aussies, which made it doubly difficult for them, as Aussies probably would have never thought about it, as they hardly got a few overs to play. They were 21 for none. They are 54 ahead, but the forecast, unfortunately, for the coming 2 days is unfortunately very bad. It's not good at all. And probably, as I said, India are the ones who are at a gross advantage here to retain the Border Gavaskar trophy, especially considering the rain gods are smiling on India right now. And especially these 2 days on the fourth day with whatever play that we get today. The other match that I'm talking about, England versus Sri Lanka in Galle, set a target of 73 runs to win the match. They closed at 38 for 3. As I said, there was a lot of drama, and Buldinia picking up 2 wickets, and Joe Root getting run out, and Barristow and Lawrence were the ones who saw them off at 38 for 3. There's still 35, so still some drama left in the final days. The pitch is really cracking. One really feels that there would be still some drama left in this particular final match, even though one would probably think for England that it would be a formality for them to go and go 1-0 in the test series. But time will tell about it. So that I'll come back to that later. But first, let's talk about this game, Australia versus India. This was the third day's play at the Gabba in Brisbane. So let's see what really happened. So the Indians actually resumed their first innings with Ajinkya Rahane and Pujara at the crease. They lost Ajinkya Rahane pretty early, as he tried to. No, sorry, it was Cheteshwar Pujara was the first wicket. In fact, Pujara and Rahane were doing a good job. They were trying to grind the Australian attack. One could really see that the Indians had a mission, and that was to really stay at the crease. We are saying, but definitely they were waiting for any loose balls that were dispatched beautifully. So the first wicket to go was Cheteshwar Pujara, but what a delivery! Hazelwood is someone who has been getting the wicket of Pujara on a regular basis, and here he was getting the ball to straighten that bit, one could say, on the channel, and it just straightens a fraction, and that was the end of Pujara. And Pujara is someone who lays a very high price on his wicket, but he was walking back to the pavilion out for 25 with 2 boundaries. Ajinkya Rahane normally is a good driver of the ball, but this time he tried to drive a ball, probably not really getting the. I thought, yes, that was the main problem. As you know, we always say in cricket, if you have a good technique, you should never drive away from your body, and that's a play. And he paid the penalty. The fourth slip, Matthew Wade had snapped up the catch. Rahane gone 37 with 3 boundaries. After that, Mayank Agarwal, for the first time, coming on a spot that he normally does not. He's normally an opener, but I thought he played very well. He showed some good aggression as well. He hit one beautiful six of the bowling of Nathan Lyon, twinkling feet, and slogged him into the spectators. That was a wonderful shot, and Mike Agarwal was looking good. But Mike Agarwal, especially as soon as he came after the tea interval, Mike Agarwal on the very first over was a victim of the bowling of Hazelwood. Mike Agarwal, it was a wild shot. It was probably going for a booming drive outside the off stump. And the catch was well taken by Stephen Smith as the ball bobbled, but Stephen Smith managed to cling on. Mayank Agarwal gone 38 with 3 fours and 1 6. Rishabh Pant, he played in his usual fashion. One was waiting for the battle between Rishabh Pant and Nathan Lyon, which never happened. But Pant contributed 23, 2 fours, and when Rishabh Pant was at the crease, the Aussies knew that they just needed that particular wicket. They got it as that was Hazelwood produced a very good delivery. He got the ball to bounce, and Rishabh Pant wanted to probably glide it through the offside cordon, and in the process, Cameron Green had a really good grab in the slip cordon. So he was gone for 23, and that was the time the Aussies would have realized that now this is the time just to close the game. The score was 186 for 6. The second new ball was due, and everything in the favor of the Aussies. And one thought that definitely the end was near, and India were going to concede a huge lead. But who would have thought, even in our dreams, that this Indian team, which has been showing great character right through, especially considering that after being 36 all out and also losing Virat Kohli, going back to India, this Indian team has shown that it has tremendous bench strength. It has shown a lot of character. It has shown a lot of courage, stoicness, whatever you call it, are absolutely less. Washington Sundar joined Shardul Thakur, and Washington Sundar showed very good temperament on his test debut, getting right behind the line of the ball, offering a stout defense, and also not afraid to play his strokes. As and when he got something in his area, it was a real treat to watch Washington Sundar when he was stroking the ball. He was stroking the ball to a nicety. Washington Sundar was joined by the other Shardul Thakur, a more aggressive player, more known for his T20 variety of cricket. But Shardul Thakur also showed immediate glimpses as he swung Cummins into the crowd for a 6. After that, he was gaining in confidence. He had no issues. Even the short stuff that was served the Aussie paceman on them did not have an effect. They were taking it on their knuckles, on their fingers, but they were absolutely not over average at all. Not only that, even the second new ball was something which could not do anything to these two batsmen, and they rode along merrily with Washington Sundar getting to his maiden test 50, and Shardul Thakur only in his second test match of his career getting on to his maiden test 50. As their contributor said, the new ball was blunted by these two batsmen, Washington Sundar and Shardul Thakur. One probably would have got memories of the previous test match where Ravichandran Ashwin and Hanuma Vihari, but that is still could be expected because of the experience that Ashwin had, and Hanuma Vihari, who was fairly experienced. But this particular pair, which was absolutely raw, coming in and doing it, that's the reason I say this Indian team is showing great character, no doubt about it. 62 to Washington Sundar, and finally, as 186 for 6, this particular pair frustrated the Aussies to such an extent that they put on 127th wicket, with Washington Sundar's contribution being 62 with 7 fours and 1 6, and Shardul Thakur had 67, which included 9 fours and 2 sixes. And it was a really, one has to really doff their hat to these two batsmen. It's only because of them that India now have a real chance of retaining the Border Gavaskar Trophy, as I said, especially considering the fact that rains are something which are forecast for the next 2 days. Saini came into bat, which was a surprise, but he contributed 5. And even after these two batsmen left, Shardul Thakur was castled by Cummins as the ball nipped back. And Washington Sundar, it was a very good ball from Stark. It was short ball, but it was angling in sharply. Probably Washington Sundar was trying to ramp it over, but in the process gave a catch. Saini was out for 8. Siraj made 13 with 2 boundaries. Natarajan was not out on 1. They served a lot of short stuff on the tailenders, but definitely unfazed were the Indian tailenders that they managed to see it off. Definitely, as I said, whatever credit is given is, according to me, pretty less to this batsman Shardul Thakur and Washington Sundar. What a display by the Indians! India replying with 336 all out, only conceding 33 runs lead to the Aussies. The bowling figures: Josh Hazelwood went on to pick up a fifer, 5 for 67, 2 for 88 for Mitchell Starc, 2 for 94 for Pat Cummins, 1 for 65 for Nathan Lyon, still hunting, still on wicket number 397, hunting for his 3 wickets. The Aussies, in their second dig, they got just 6 overs to play, thanks to this Shardul Thakur, Washington Sundar stretching it all the way. And at stumps, the Aussies were 21 for 9. Harris was not out on 1. David Warner was playing all the strokes, 20 with 3 boundaries. 21 for 9. 54 had the Aussies. Siraj none for 12, none for 6 Natarajan. Sundar none for 3. Now, one thing, as I said, the rain gods are smiling right now on India, and they are not smiling on Australia. And I have a sincere feeling that today in the morning session at the Gabba, we are going to see some fireworks. I'm sure David Warner would like to take off like a rocket, because as the forecast is there, they would like as much runs as possible under the belt. And I won't be even surprised if the Aussies probably sent in do some promotion in the batting order. They rejig the batting order, and they probably send someone to go there and have a blast at the Indians. And that could be Cameron Green, who could come in. So I'm also expecting some sort of an innovation coming in Australia, especially considering the 2 days rain have been forecast. And they are the ones who are in intense pressure. India have nothing to lose because they already have their Border Gavaskar trophy. It's only a matter of the Aussies wresting it up from them. So it's going to be an interesting morning session, according to me, which will dictate the pace of the game today. Now, let's talk about the Sri Lanka versus England match. As Sri Lanka versus England is concerned, as you know, the Sri Lankans were fighting hard yesterday. They had done a good job. They carried on in the similar fashion today also. But definitely, Angelo Matthews was there. The ninth watchman was dismissed pretty quickly. Angelo Matthews' contribution was 71 with 4 boundaries. Chandimal making 20. So Angelo Matthews definitely played well. I forgot to tell about Lairu Thirimane, who went on to score a century, 111 for 12. So this will give him ounces of confidence. As I said, this was sort of a blessing for him that he came into the team due to an injury. And here he comes in and scores 111. As you know, Lairu Thirimane is someone who has modeled himself on none other than the legendary Sri Lankan batsman Kumar Sangakkara. As far as Matthews was concerned, Matthews made 71, Chandimal 20, Dikwala was out for 29, Shanaka 4, Hasranga de Silva 12, Dilron Pereira made a quick 24, which had 5 boundaries spanked in that, and Asita Fernando 359 was the final tally for the Sri Lankans as they were bowled out, and Jack Leach and Dom Bess were the dominant spinners there. Jack Leach returning figures of 5 for 122, and then Dom Bess, who had a 5 in the first innings, went on to pick up 3 wickets for 100 runs and 2 wickets to Sam Curran as the Sri Lankan innings came to an end. Now England were set 73 to win the match, and definitely they had 15 overs, and probably this was 50 runs, but time, as you said, tomorrow is the final day of this particular match. But the Sri Lankan bowlers really fought it. Lasidem Buldunia, the spinner, got the first wicket to go was Dom Sibley, who basically shouldered arms to a delivery. It was the arm ball from the left arm spinner, and went on going straight, and one could hear the rattle of the timber as Dom Sibley, shouldering arms to Buldunia, lost his stumps and that was a poor judgment by Dom Sibley, the opener. After that, we saw the next wicket to go was Zach Crawley, the other opener. This time, once again, Embuldinia coming into the mix as Embuldinia actually got him close but it was a good catch, sharp catch taken by Mendes in the slips of the Embuldinia. Crawley gone for 8, and then a serious misunderstanding between Jonathan Barristow and Joe Root. But what one was wondering, as the commentator was telling, Joe Root was the one. Barristow called for a run. Joe Root was running down. He was impeded, according to me, by one of the Sri Lankan fielders or probably the bowler itself. And by the time he could reach the crease, he was caught. So one does not know what was that, but finally the verdict was that Joe Root was declared out. He was run out. He was shaking his head as he was walking back to the pavilion. He was run out for 1. And then Johnny Barristow and Dan Lawrence survived a few anxious moments as England closed the day at 38 for 3. They went to the relative safety, one could say. Barristow was not out on 11 and Dan Lawrence was 7. And definitely, as I said, there was some drama there. Even though the score was just a paltry 73 for England to get, England were made to work for it, and I'm sure we are going to have some more drama tomorrow on the final day morning. And Lasith Embuldinia and Dilruwan Pereira will actually continue the operations on the final morning. Well, dear fans, so as I said, 2 good matches coming up, and also. I can definitely see your comments there. What did Warner do different so he didn't get out in the first over? My friend, I can't really hazard a guess here. Basically, he was aggressive. He decided that he's not going to be really scratching around there, but he probably wanted to play his strokes. And I'm sure, as I told you, today morning, that is in the Gabba in the morning, we are definitely going to see David Warner unleash some very good strokes. I mean, if he's the one who's going to take the chances, because the Aussies definitely have to trust themselves, because as I said, they have nothing to lose. If the Aussies want to have the Border Gavaskar Trophy with the rain gods not smiling on them, I think the only way David Warner, the Aussies can do is to go and get some quick runs before the rain really comes and spoils their opportunities. So they will definitely, I think, knowing the Aussies who really believe in the killer instinct, I have a sincere feeling that David Warner or even the whole Aussie team is not going to waste any time. They are going to play their strokes today. So the Indian bowlers will also have their opportunities to pick up wickets. So it's going to be very interesting whether the Aussies steal a march over the Indians, or the Indians bowlers go and steal a march over the Aussie batting. It's going to be very interesting, and one is really waiting to have a look at that. And other than that, dear fans, I'm just going to see whether there is any other cricket news that I can cover before I really call I call it quits on this particular show for today. So some cricket news that I see that Jimmy Neesham of New Zealand has dislocated his left ring finger. That's one news coming in. And also there is one Big Bash League update that I can give you. The match is between Melbourne Stars and Melbourne Renegades. And the Melbourne Stars have won the match by 6 wickets. Melbourne Renegades in this Big Bash League 2020 have been really relegated to the background. They have not been delivered according to expectations. And looking at this particular result between Melbourne Stars and Renegades, Stoinis and Larkin played a very good role, and Liam Hatcher was the player of the match. He got a 3-wicket bag. I also see one more question popping up here. It says, just imagine a half-bench Indian team defeating Australia at the Gabba with all that drama. It will be a moment which will go down in history if it happens. Yes, my friend, if that happens, yes, it would be history. No, I mean, India can be extremely proud of that. As I said, it's a crippled Indian team, and what they have done is something. As I said, this has been a series, as the commentators have all been telling, it has been a very interesting series. Indians have shown a great character. I just put it down to great character by the Indians, despite despite I thought they have risen against all odds, one could say, and there can't be a better picture than this for India. And looking at how India have played, shown their true character, I think India definitely deserve to retain the Border Gavaskar Trophy. But time will tell the story, my friend. We are all waiting for the game to start. Probably right now, when I'm talking to you from here, from my studios here, we are going to have an early start. I am told probably half an hour early. And it's so basically probably we are looking at 3 hours time from now, when or three or 3.5 hours from now, when play would be starting. Well, dear fans and subscribers, a pleasure bringing you this cricket happening show as I normally do, and I'm always really excited by the response that I'm getting from this cricket show. You guys are a bunch of really very good cricket crazy guys like me, and why not? Cricket is something which really causes excitement when it comes to it. Well, dear fans and subscribers, finally, it's all over for the day for today from host Ram. And I'm looking forward to see you tomorrow when I bring you the details of these two particular matches. But definitely, we are definitely, as a formality, England should be winning, but there'll be some drama still left in the game against Sri Lanka. And also tomorrow, we'll also know for a fact whether India will be retaining the Border Gavaskar Trophy, or whether the Aussies will be wresting the Border Gavaskar Trophy from India. Until then, it's goodbye.